All right, thanks for standing by. Drake and I are back. Welcome to the Nerd Rage Minnesota Modern 5K. We got the team event wrapped up. 5K, we're moving into round 2. The players are waiting for us, so we had to make those adjustments. Now we're back. Drake, do you have any prepared analysis for Living End versus Battle of Wits?
Joe, I don't think even if I tried to provide any amount of insight at all, that I would have any clue what's going on, because this isn't normal Battle of Wits, Joe.
No,
This
it's
is
not.
the
All right.
community-built, charity-funded, I guess not charity funded, but charity funding Battle of
Right.
Wits deck. It has all kinds of wacky alternate win conditions and a whole slew of different cards we can see. I think we're in for a special treat when it
I
comes
think
to
so
feature
too.
matches
All right.
here
So we'll go ahead and go
for the
down to the
Modern 5.
table. We've got Alex Krenik playing Living End. I like a year ago, Living End might have been a fringe deck. Now it's kind of mainstream, and at no point in Magic's history is Battle of Wits not out there. And this Robert Taylor's Battle of Wits deck, he's at Fire Shoes. You can find him on Twitter. We had interviewed him yesterday. So this was he's playing for the Extra Life Foundation in Iowa. This is something he does. It was, if you weren't aware, if you didn't listen yesterday, you don't know anything about this, it was a $20 donation to choose a card that went into the deck. He got somewhere north of 100 donations. So he raised $2,000 for the Children's Hospital Network for Extra Life. And 100 to 110 cards for his deck were decided by the internet. And there's some garbage in there.
I
He chose
can't
the rest
imagine
of the
what you mean,
cards,
Joe.
try to make the deck somewhat competitive, and we'll see.
Oh. Well, Joe, I know it's a little bit more than $2,000 because there was a stretch goal that if $2,500 was reached, the deck would be sleeved in these lovely SpongeBob sleeves that you have get
Okay.
to feast your eyes on this screen, and how beautiful they are. Thank
Yeah.
you all for your donations to this charity and this cause. And eventually, shuffling will conclude of this
Now
Battle of Wits deck.
I'll tell you what, Drake.
Yeah.
I don't even like shuffling people's double sleeved decks.
Uh-huh.
And this is
Abundant Harvest. I love it.
okay.
Okay. Would you like to pick land or
I can't even
non-land?
comprehend playing a deck of this size.
Yeah, I can't either. I'm not really sure. Formulating game plans would be very difficult. Trying to assess what your possible draw steps could be seems incredibly difficult. I think this is one of those situations where you just play your Magic card to try to have fun. As Alex trying to figure out what's going on. Very obvious at this point that it's Living End, as we can see the SpongeBob's reaching up from the table, attempting to contact the camera. Not quite tall enough yet, though, but not as far off as you would think. And Steve Mintz is going to go ahead and cycle a creature, I imagine, as here goes the Architects of Will.
I mean, you can't possibly plan against this deck.
Yeah, this is one of those where you're like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
There's probably Battle of Wits in your deck, but I'm just going to try to hope that a couple creatures that I can live again is going to kill you. And please don't have anything to beat that. I just don't even know what to play around. But let's find out as here comes Grief.
Sure. I mean, okay.
I'm just going to pick these up. Let me just read these real quick. Fiery Justice. Okay, sure. Deflecting Palm. Why not? Hedron Alignment. What does that one do? All right.
I mean, there are cards on his Twitter thread. There are a list of all of the community chosen cards. There are cards in here. I mean, there's a card, a Hedron Alignment or something that actually it's a win. If you have one in play, one in the graveyard, one in exile, you win the game.
There's only that blue enchantment we see in his hand right now. Hedron Alignment.
So there's cards in here that actually do nothing. Is
it Sphinx Bone Wand? I'm taking guesses,
job.
Joey. I might be better off trying to scour Twitter to figure out what these cards are, but I think this is going to be an adventure for the coverage booth as much as it is for viewers, because I frankly don't know what some of these cards even do. That looks like a Sphinx's Bone Wand or whatever, but who knows, Joe? Who knows? It would be a reprinted version.
I know the other one's blue. Robert playing an original Fiery Justice, which I recognized instantaneously. I'm sure there's 12 different artworks of that one, but that's the hero one as far as I'm concerned. All right, so Alex is going to write down all the cards that are left over in Robert's hand. Then he's probably going to call a judge over for Oracle text on half of them.
No There's a lot of readers here for sure.
Robert's probably going to break a fetch land next turn, so Alex will have time to kill.
Yeah. We'll have time to pull up some Oracle texts, potentially on on that companion app that's now available, and read about some of these cards here while the fetching process is happening. But we drew Scalding, I'm sorry, Sacred Foundry, so maybe no fetching necessary. Robert trying to figure that out himself. I'm sure the mana math not necessarily the easiest thing to figure out in this deck. It looks like a Marshlots will be played and sacrificed, and we are going digging in the lovely, I believe it's 240 card deck.
I mean, I tried playing Battle of Wits on Magic Online like a decade ago, and I do feel like the average Battle of Wits deck back then was too big. Like, you don't need 260 cards. Like 230 or so seems like a real number, where because you just
Right.
want to win by Battle of Wits in the first 10 turns or so. After that, forget about it. You'll win with something else. But this deck is a special case. As Robert gets to shuffling, I don't know if anyone bought the rights to have Leyline of the Void in the deck, but that would have been highly
pretty
that would
good
have
in this
made my
particular
day.
matchup for sure. Although not really something you could confidently mulligan for. Typically, that's
No,
a strategy
you wouldn't
you
need to.
see.
It's 240 card deck. It's just like, oh, it's my opening hand, put it in play. And
Sure, why
Alex
not?
is
There you
like,
go.
oh, come on.
That would be really frustrating, I'm sure, for Alex. It's like, come on, you have 200 cards. Are you joking?
So this is, you can see both players are 0-1. Robert Taylor has actually done this before. He actually went 4-3, he told me, which is kind of amazing at a previous time doing this.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a cool project, and to be able to pick up any wins at all just has to be an incredible feeling.
I mean,
As
domain
here,
almost achieved here for Robert Taylor.
yeah, where's the Scion of Dracos or whatever, and
Yeah.
territorial Kavus and stuff, and we can get some zoo Battle Wits beatdown going on. Who knows? It's an adventure all the way down. Joe, I don't got it. What's this card?
What?
I don't know, Joe. I don't know what's going on. It's probably going to die to a living end.
Help us out here. Yeah, I
Looks
don't know.
like it adds green mana. As here's a violent outburst, going to violently outburst a living end and sacrifice whatever that lovely green creature is to a living end.
Nyx Weaver is the first guest from the chat. Let's see if we can pop up Nyx Weaver and see if that's actually correct.
I don't think it's Nyx Weaver. Definitely not that. Maybe
Nope.
Avid Reclaimer, another guess. As we have some time to kill as this cascading process is happening. Apparently the living ends are all at the bottom of the library. Hey, that looks like a winner chicken dinner. We need a Nissa Planeswalker, Joe, then we can gain some life.
Well, this isn't going to get eaten up by Violent Outburst anyway, but at least it'll be ready to come back into play on the second Violent Outburst. As, I mean, how confident are we that Robert Taylor's Battle Wits deck Instant Speed can handle all of this?
I don't know. I know that Robert did add a couple copies of Endurance, providing some flexibility to get your deck back up to 200 cards if you need to, but also pretty effective in this matchup. So, if that is something that Robert Taylor has access to here, does not look to be the case as Grief comes back into play, takes a look at the hand, doing a little bit of math on whether or not this is lethal. Fiery Justice, get that out of here. No killing creatures, please. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my top three of this Architects of Will. They're all like just lands and cards. Here's a smush. I think that's lethal. Here you go. Please die.
Yeah. All right. So game one, not looking too good for Battle Wits. Question in the chat: is there going to be coverage of Modern today? This is it. This is Modern.
This is the Modern format. These are all Modern staples, Chad. I don't know why you're struggling.
I mean, they're all Modern legal cards. I don't know about staples. When we have to crowd source the identification of the mana creatures, I think we've left staples far behind.
we've maybe transcended the staples territory, eh?
Okay, so as they're shuffling up for game two, this is a real Modern event. There are 302 players in the field. We're going to have 9 rounds of Swiss. We're in round 2. Round 1 occurred while we're still covering the team event, but it will be all Modern for the rest of the day, in case you're curious. This will probably be the only appearance of Robert Taylor's Battle of Wits deck. However, if he goes on a run, maybe later today we'll bring him back on.
Top 8 prospects.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's not. I shouldn't be writing him off. I mean, he has. How many decks in Modern can actually have turn 5 kills? Right. I mean, all these control decks, they can't win on turn 5.
That's true.
Yeah.
4-color deck. What you got? A Solitude.
Yeah. Okay. He's got 4 auto wins on turn 5, plus probably number of tutors and things to support the card. So yeah, we'll see. And I mean, maybe there's other combos in the deck that can win on turn 5. I mean, who knows what kind of nonsense is in this deck list. We have the deck list on MTG Melee, and let me tell you, I looked at it, and Melee couldn't actually fit the deck list. So
I couldn't load
even
it
though
all
I
up.
tried to look at the deck list, it scrolled off the page. I still couldn't understand what was going on. I thought I was looking at the deck list. It turned out I was looking at the enchantment section of the deck list.
Powerful, Joe. Very powerful. At least you see the 4 battle awaits. I think that'll give you a picture for what's going on at the very least.
Yeah, you know, if you're in chat right now and you donated to Robert Taylor's deck, go ahead and let us know what card you selected to be in there. So that way Drake and I can, construct an accurate picture of what Alex is actually playing against here. I mean, there's also, if you're interested in seeing it on Twitter, there is a scroll of the 100 or so cards that were selected.
Yeah, I believe the final total that Robert said in his interview yesterday was 115 donations. So the rest of the deck list, of course, filled up by him attempting to salvage a playable Modern deck from the sabotage from the Twitter donators. Now, some cards were put in there that were pretty powerful. Some not as much. So we'll see what Robert can accomplish here in sideboarding against Living End. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the last tournament before we get to decide 2 more players in the end of the year Energy Championship, right, Joe?
That is absolutely correct. Yeah. We have 2 players locked up. We're going to lock up 2 more today. Let's go ahead and pop up the leaderboard right now so you can see where your favorites are standing. Andrew Ellenbogen came up just shy of winning the team event, but looking pretty solid with the point boost there to join potentially. Joseph Bernal was in the field. I believe his team finished maybe 10th yesterday in the team event, but the points from the Modern do count as well. Some of the other players in the field include Max McVitie, who also finished 2nd in the team event. Zoe Riederman there in 14th place finished 1st in the team event.
So that's a trophy.
30 points there. That brings her up to 67. So if no other players acquired any points, Zoe would qualify. However, we know that Andrew Ellenbogen did put up a pretty sizable total. But again, the points from today matter. Zoe knows what she's doing in Modern. So does Andrew. So does everyone else probably that's contesting the spots. So we'll see how this plays out throughout the rest of the day.
Yeah, suddenly with that big shift, that stacked finals we got to see just a few hours ago. If you missed it, I highly recommend checking it out later on. But, these players, now there's multiple that were maybe on the outside looking in coming this weekend. Players like Zoe, players like Max. And Andrew was looking pretty good. Both of them, all 3 of them had strong finishes. And Zoe and Andrew both in the Modern seat of their respective teams. So clearly, they've been at it. They know what they're doing. This is their time to shine. This Modern tournament has a lot of pressure on both of those players to accumulate enough points to get over the line and qualify for that championship right here, right now. That way you can get it done. Don't need to play any more events, and you're just locked up, ready to go. So very interested to see how this tournament resolves, how this season wraps up, hoping for, as much of a fireworks of a conclusion as we saw there in our team tournament.
All right. So I'm told that we're just going to go ahead and go down to the table while Robert Taylor shuffles his deck, because it's just an exhibition. If your own shuffling mechanics are a little suspect, maybe you can learn something from Robert shuffling his 260 card behemoth, or however many cards are actually in this deck list. Does Nerd Rage we need a Nerd Rage intern just so I can have them go count the deck list.
Joe, please don't hold this up any longer.
Whoever the youngest judge in the field is gets the deck check Robert.
Absolutely not. Yeah, just put it stick it on the youngest little intern. Just like, all right, go get him. Figure it out. Make sure you check every card, and good luck checking it against Melee.
All right,
I appreciate it. I also appreciate how thorough Robert is.
Question from the chat while we're waiting here: were players able to play in both events? Yes, they were. The team quarterfinals played last night. The semifinals played an hour before Modern today. So the finalists, the teams that made the finals, received a 1-round bye in the Modern event, but they are all in the field if they chose to do so.
Very reasonable. And, of course, wouldn't make any sense at all to punish players for winning a tournament. So as such, they, get a bye into the modern tournament so they can begin at round 2. Look at that smiley face opening 7. A lot of respect there from Alex. He's happy to be here. He's happy to cast some living ends. And Robert is happy to look at an opening 7 that looks to include lands and spells. And honestly, Joe, I think that's going to have to be good enough,
Well, hey, good enough. I mean, I think that's an Explorer and a Risen Reef. That's ramping, dude. That's Battle of Wits turn 4. Let's go.
Let's go, Joe. Turn 4 Battle Wits. I mean, that's a combo. That wins. What's that? Living End on turn 3? Fine, you can have all your creatures. Here's Battle Wits.
All right. Well, we do know that there were 2 copies of Endurance of Robert's deck. He told us that yesterday. Maybe there's more. We did see him sideboarding. Maybe he boarded in more copies. Maybe he's got. I mean, okay, you're sideboarding in a Battle of Wits deck. What do you even put in? You just have, 4 copies of 3 different ley lines?
Joe, I don't know. Maybe, do you have a wish? Is there like glittering wish in this deck? Is
Well,
there a
yeah.
wish
So
board?
you
I
got
think
3
I want
wish
a
targets
board.
and 12 ley lines. That's your sideboard?
There you go. Sure. I don't know that I'd want to do a lot of sideboarding, Joe. I'm just jamming all the stuff I want in my games anyway. Like, what am I going to change? Like 3 cards? What are the odds I see that? Get out of here.
Well, right here we see Robert Taylor just laughing at the idea of variance. The 60-card deck takes a mulligan. Robert Taylor with 258 or some such. I'll keep on 7, no problem.
I love it. I love it so much. As here is a signature turn 1. As here's a fetch land from Robert Taylor.
All right. Well, if you need a bathroom break or make a sandwich or something, this is the time as Robert searches through his deck.
Alex, laughing at the idea of having to fetch a land ever, leads on turn 1 Botanical Signum. Here's a Triumph on turn 1, Joe. How about that?
I mean, and Alex is like, all right, I'll shuffle too.
I will help you. Let us participate. This is a community effort from start to finish.
Let's just try not to shuffle Robert's hand back into the deck. It's been a while since I've seen that happen.
Joe,
but I have
make the
witnessed
SpongeBob noise. Is that something in your range?
A SpongeBob noise? I don't
like
know what
the laugh.
No, I have no idea.
Oh, you can't do that. All right, Joe. Well,
can't do it. I don't even know what it is. Dude,
SpongeBob is SpongeBob.
I was not the age group that watched SpongeBob. You know what age group I was though? I saw the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie debuted yesterday. Or on Friday on Disney. I didn't watch it yet, but let me tell you, I have memories of that cartoon, so I'll check it out at some point.
Yeah, that's a little outside my age range. I was certainly the target demographic for the SpongeBob series, but I don't got the laugh down, Joe. I don't got it. It's really hard. Here comes an Explorer. Do we have a land to put into play for our additional land drop? It looks like the answer may be no.
Well, that would be a disaster. No, how are we going to cast turn 4 Battle of Wits with only 2 land?
Joe, I'm not looking optimistic on the turn 4 Battle of Wits. Here is 2 cyclers from Alex. At maybe a third one. How about Street Wraith again? Okay. Turn 1, 3 creatures in the yard. Yes, please. Where's your Supreme Verdicts now, Robert Taylor? I don't even know if there is one. I'm just taking a guess. It seems like a card I'd want in my Battle of Wits deck.
Another comment from the chat about how Robert Taylor's not playing a companion. I mean, he probably qualifies for like 5 of them.
Oh, how sick would that be, Joe? How about a Loot Tree Battle of Wits deck? You get 1 Battle of Wits. Good luck building a mana base.
Oh. All right.
So
we have a land. We got Shivan Reef. Come on, we had Explorer. We got nothing. Maybe Robert can discard the hand size and throw some absolute gigantic monster and then make just take Living End off the table.
Maybe that's his plan all along, Joe. Maybe he has lands and he's just sandbagging them and he's like, all right. I mean, here comes, I don't even know, like Dragon Lord Atarka. There you go. That seems like a good one. Just kills like a bunch of stuff. I'm just taking a guess, man. That's what I got. Hedron Alignment, I believe, the draw step for the turn. Not terribly good at producing mana, as we may be looking to move to clean up. We're going to do some stuff before that happens. Here's an Architects of Will cycled. Going to pick up a new card. Looks like we may have a couple more cyclers to do, as well as a Force and Negation, among other options for Alex Krenik, accumulating a critical mass of creatures in the graveyard. Only access to blue and green mana.
No! So discards Emrakul to shuffle back in. That's not going to get us there.
It's a monster.
We need a creature that's going to stay in the graveyard.
Yeah, that's maybe. Yeah, there's no way to get this to work, right? You'd have to respond to the trigger with Living End. That doesn't seem like something Alex is ever going to do.
No, probably not. And we'll go to a Gristlebrand. Pitching Gristlebrand here, that would have worked.
That would have worked. A Gristlebrand, maybe not the best one to play in a Battle Woods deck? You know, what do I know? I feel like drawing 7 cards off the top is not really what you want to be doing in your Battle
Dude,
Woods
if
deck.
you
What do I know?
were at like 30 life and you had Gristlebrand, you could draw like 5% in your deck. You'd be on your way.
As here is some more community shuffling that is happening here. Go ahead and put that deck back together as another fast land picked up. Finally, access to red mana does come into play tapped. Gonna play that one tapped, just pass the turn back, says Alex.
Yes,
a fetch
a land.
land picked up for Robert Taylor. That's land number 3. Let's see what Robert Taylor can get going here.
All right, how about some shuffling?
How about some? I do like some shuffling, Joey. I'm a big shuffling fan.
I mean,
I think if you play Magic, you have to be a shuffling fan, right? Like you have to just enjoy shuffling cards.
Okay. So we'll find, let's see, we got Ketria Triome and Watery Grave. So maybe get something. Yes, there we go.
There you go. Temple
Garden. Got some white mana. We have Domain enabled.
Domain online. We'll see what Robert elects to play after, of course, the lovely community shuffling process here.
Yeah, there's
looks like there may be a third person involved at this
judge
stage.
Or somebody is also shuffling. Maybe it's the other feature match. They're shuffling too. I don't know.
It's like, hey, can we borrow you for a second? we need some help.
All right, that one didn't take too long. Oh, never mind. There's more of the deck.
Someone else. More. There's always more.
I'm sure we'll go to resolve battle with it'll only be 120 cards because 2 other people are just shuffling half the deck off to the side. Shivan Reef, can we find a land? I'm not sorry, Risen Reef.
Risen Reef. Looking at the card, can't scry it. What do I do with it? I believe it goes to your hand. Is that a second copy of Hedron Alignment? We can begin to do it, right? We can put one in the yard. Oh no, we can't discard a hand size yet. I don't actually know. It may not even be a Hedron Alignment. It looks like it's not. It's some blue card. All right, sure, whatever. There's an Ephemerate. Yo, Ephemerate with Risen Reef. That's good, right? That's a real combination. Synergistic.
And this is like not the most functional living end draw of all time either.
Yeah, there's no living ends. We see a Violent Outburst in hand for Alex. We'll see if he chooses to put that his creatures into play on end step here.
Cool. Damage comes across. Robert Taylor's deck dishing it out.
Beatdowns, First Blood. Actually, it's not. I mean, Fetch Lands and Street Race have done all the damage in this game, but the first real attack, I believe that is a Sailor of Means.
Oh, yeah.
Often referred to as Sailor of Memes.
Right. So that's a treasure and a 1/4? Or is it It's a treasure, right?
It is a treasure. That is
Violent Outburst is going to come in. Robert Taylor's like,
is this what the Sailor of Means on the stack? It looks to be. So maybe we're going to have a Sailor of Means as a nice blocker.
Well, you don't want to risk them having Flusterstorm off the treasure, do you?
Absolutely not. Looking at cards. This is my revealed card zone. Here's the living end. I believe I don't see a treasure. Oh, maybe it's with the treasure trigger on the stack. Yeah,
that would make sense too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, that's way better.
So those creatures are out of there. Alex is going to rebuild the board.
And here is a pile of cards. 2 copies of Architects of Will. It means you can target your opponent and yourself. Set up your opponent's draws. Any Battle of Wits here? Oh, nope. You can have that Avid Reclaimer right there. That one's all for you. And I will check my top 3. I'll take whatever random large monster cyclers I have and have a nice treasure. There you go.
Okay, well.
Drake. All right, let's assess the creatures here. Looks like...
I'm going to have to admit... I'm losing confidence in the Battle of Wits deck making it to the top 8.
I don't understand why that would be, Mr. Lissette.
Yeah, I guess I'm just not a believer anymore. Robert Taylor did some good work here, but I don't see a comeback. Yeah,
Robert Taylor seems to agree, at least as far as this match goes, revealing a card that I also don't know appears to be the case. Maybe it's a Deafening Silence. That would have been a good one.
Graveyard Hate, man. That's a Stonecloaker. I think.
A Stonecloaker. Okay.
See, sure. I know all the cards. Whenever
I don't know,
I'm just messing around trying to screw with my co-host when I can't identify a card. It's all part of the plan. I know all the random nonsense, at least if it's original artwork.
Well, anyway. I will rely on you for all future random nonsense. And if you get it wrong, just know that's a mark on your record. I'm keeping track. You're tracking new Capenna cards. I'm tracking how many cards you mess up. I got it right.
Well, you're gonna have a bigger list than I do then. As Alex Krenik does take down round 2 of our modern event. All right. Throughout the day, we will have recorded backup matches. However, this first round, second round of the event, our first round covering it, we will not. So that's going to conclude. Okay. So I have been deceived by production once again.
Unbelievable.
We do have a backup match, so we're going to start with game 2 of round 2 of whatever the backup match is. So, okay, let's roll it. I'm going in dark here. Drake and I don't know what's coming, but
No idea. If it's
it's
Battle of Wits
gonna
again, I
be-
might lose my mind.
there is going to be fewer cards in this match than there were in half of Robert's deck, I'm sure. So Ethan Dasher with Dredge and Jacob Segal with Grixis Death Shadow. Okay, continuing on coverage of round 2. These players are both 1-0, with Ethan up a game with Dredge. Dredge is a deck that I feel like kind of like vanished from the metagame.
Yeah, Joe, I think it's pretty tough to continue to play Dredge when you've had multiple bannings across the years. Dredge, Rise and Fall, we saw Golgari Grave Troll unbanned, then rebanned because it was way too powerful. Faithless Looting removed from the format as well for various offenses, including Hogak and what have you. Have gotten a few pickups since then. We've seen things like Ox of Agonis come in, make a play. We've seen, additional versions of like Cathartic Reunion effects. I believe there's one that is red and white out of Strixhaven, whose name eludes me at this time, but at the end of the day, when it comes to Modern Horizons 2, you got no new pickups, but all the other decks in the format picked up things like Endurance, which is a pitch cost, graveyard hate spell that people just main deck because it's just good enough on rate. There's enough graveyard stuff going on. It has enough good stats. And cards like Endurance and various other graveyard hate effects, things like Unlicensed Hearst, also recently printed, kind of have done some amount of work to taper the potency of the Dredge deck. But as with other decks in the format that are, similarly linear but extremely powerful, if you underestimate them and you don't pack those graveyard hate spells, they can surprise you and they can spike a tournament out of the blue. We've seen this happen time and time again. And Ethan Dasher clearly looking to leverage some of those percentage points here today in Minnesota.
Yeah, and plus, with Living End becoming a key part of the metagame, Dredge, how bad could that matchup be game 1?
Yeah, that's got to be a weird one because like the Dredgers aren't that impressive, right? Like, okay, you get like Narcomoebas and whatever, Stinkweed Imps and stuff, but you get like a lot of them. And Stinkweed Imp has like Death Touch. It can like do some blocking.
Stinkweed Imp's good at taking down Striped Riverwinder.
Yeah, exactly. Like these big monsters that are huge, like what is it, the Waker of Waves or whatever, the 7/7? Yeah. You can block that. Here you go. Death Touch. Kill it. Nice 7/7.
Well, so actually, no.
Oh, that's right. He loses a power.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe, you've disappointed me.
I disappointed you.
Yeah, you did. I was so excited about
in the future when you enumerate a complicated card interaction that's completely incorrect. I'll be sure to just let it slide.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's about time you let me be wrong. It's important for me to be wrong. It generates interaction. Everyone in the Twitch chat gets to correct me and tell me what a clown I am, and then people are interacting with our stream. And you know what? If you think I'm wrong, you need to follow NRG series. That way you can be in Twitch chat to correct me every time I'm wrong.
Jacob on the mulligan to 4 here, I think, after Ethan kept 6. Maybe hunting for the elusive graveyard hate that Robert Taylor was unable to find.
It looks like Ethan Dasher, a copy of Leyline of Sanctity in the opening hand.
I thought that might be what that was, which is... Yeah, okay, we'll see.
It's going to stop a lot of the discard hate, right? And sometimes we see Grixis Dash Shadow play things like Nihil Spellbomb. All right, this is an opportunity, Twitch chat. I'm not sure if it stops Nihil Spellbomb, but I think Nihil Spellbomb targets the player.
That sounds right to me. All right. So Jacob Segal looking for a quality 4-card hand to stay in this match. He's already down the game. I believe he's on 4. Maybe it's only 5. It is only 5. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like only 5.
Nope, it's 4. You just forgot.
Yep, you're right on 4.
Ethan's like, no, remember I mulliganed also, and then you mulliganed twice more? Yep, that's 4. There is a white ley line. Yes, indeed.
All right. Looks like Expressive Iteration and Flusterstorm among the other cards. Flusterstorm, pretty good one at answering those Cathartic Reunion effects I alluded to earlier. Portable Hole there in the opening hand. Very good at answering some of those permanent base graveyard hate as well. Looks like there was a copy of that red-white Cathartic Reunion effect called Thrilling Discovery in the opening hand. We'll see if that's something Ethan is interested in casting here. Nice juicy target for that Flusterstorm if I had to guess. As here is Thrilling Discovery. We got a reader.
All right, let's see.
Let's see. That says discard cards and draw cards. I would like to Flusterstorm that. Yes, please. As that one is going to get countered.
Fortunately for Ethan, this is not discard as part of the cost, so he does not have to. Well, maybe not. Fortunately, maybe he'd like to pitch
Yeah, I think
But
you'd like to put the Dredger
yeah.
in the graveyard, even if the spell gets countered, I think, Joe.
Mhm.
Probably a little bit worse. Better in other decks, worse in Dredge, and maybe by design, by Magic the Gathering's designers trying not to give Dredge too many tools, as they seem to get tools all the time from new sets.
Yeah, you mentioned Portable Hole in hand. Portable Hole and Ledger Shredder were the 2 cards that they both mentioned to me were the high sellers coming into this weekend.
Oh, really? That's a cool
Yeah.
stat. Portable Hole is a high seller. I would not have called that one. And we can get a look at that powerful artifact from the Dungeons and Dragons set. I believe this is a Dungeons and Dragons mechanic individually. So very flavorful there.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I like the. I am a fan. I know some. Yeah, I know. I've talked to people who don't like Magic going into other intellectual properties for themes of sets. I quite enjoy it.
Really?
Yeah, I thought. Well, it depends on how well it's executed. I thought the Godzilla alternates was very well done.
Yeah, those were really cool.
That was neat. Didn't disrupt anything. I know um the Walking Dead special set did not go over well. I didn't really have a strong opinion on that because that's not a show I've seen. But just the fact that it had unique mechanics. Because the thing about the Godzilla set was that it didn't change the game at all.
Yeah.
It was
You
like
like the just reskinning, not so
yeah,
much like
exactly. And I
the
think
fresh
the
cards.
reskinning
I
worked.
can get behind that.
Yeah, the reskinning worked well.
What do we have here? Stinkweed Imp? Stinky?
Yeah, get it out there. I mean, it costs you 2
Maybe
counter for
Prized
these
Amalgam?
gemstone
Also, I
mines.
think there.
These gemstone mines are not going to last much longer. Okay, Prize Amalgam, triple the power of Stinkweed Imp.
Yeah, that's much faster clock, representing 5-turn clock here. That one does come into play untapped when you hardcast it. Only comes into play tapped when it is returned via its traditional method, coming back from the graveyard. Creeping Chill, not necessarily the card looking to draw off the top of the library for Ethan. Can cast it, but you'd have to sacrifice 2 lands. That's a lot worse than a Fire Blast, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
actually
this
know. It's
is
one
going
less
to
damage.
be tricky. Ethan is up a game, so that's nice. And I think Jacob actually has 2 Thoughtseize in hand. Did
Yeah,
I
and a
see that
Fluster
right?
Shard. Dude, that's even a Fluster Shard. This Amalgam is like not a joke. Oh, but in Holy Heat, do we have Delirium? Let's do the Delirium check. Don't mind me. I'm just looking at my graveyard. No reason at all.
Yeah, Delirium. Yeah, great spot removal, tremendous against cards like Prized Amalgam against Dredge. But I guess with no dredging happening yet, yeah, it can last for a while.
Oh,
And
Narcomoeba, another all-star
the
off the top.
yeah,
That's another turn off the clock. Here we
if that
go.
throwing discovery had resolved, Ethan would be in great shape.
I mean, it's not unclear to me Ethan isn't in great shape anyway. Here comes a 2-turn clock. Thank you, Narcomoeba.
Oh my goodness, can this meager offense actually take down a game and a match?
Meeker. This is a 1/1 flyer, Mr. Lisette. Mishra's Bobble, that will enable Delirium and will allow you to kill a Prized Amalgam. However, killing a Prized Amalgam isn't necessarily the biggest thing to celebrate, right? Because it comes back pretty easily. As here comes 4 damage. Segal going to take that one on the nose, go down to 4. Suddenly, this Creeping Chill maybe also not a joke.
Yeah.
Gets Fluster started, but I mean, it would be a lethal spell.
Well, I think we're just gonna roll it Stinkweed Imp. No, we're just gonna go for it.
Here we go. Old Chili. Ooh, it's getting cold in here. Fluster Storm going to go ahead and dispatch that
yeah,
one.
Stinkweed Imp ready to contribute to the offense. How many flyers are in this Grixis show deck that don't have to attack? Honestly, probably very few. The way is clear for Narcomoeba to take it down, and Jacob's
What a way
like,
to win a
yeah,
game. I mean, if Dredge gets it done, this is not the way you drew it up. We've not done a Dredge replacement ability yet in this game. So, maybe the deck's maybe a little misnamed, but
Dredge has historically had a hard time when there's ley lines on the board, right? So it's understandable that he's not able to do anything here.
Joe, I think you might have the ley line interaction here mixed up. Wrong ley line, wrong player, but you're close. I'll give you that. You're close.
All right. As Jacob does destroy a sleeve while shuffling. That must be a problem in Robert Taylor's deck as well.
Are you kidding me? Those SpongeBobs are going to hold strong.
How much does it cost to re-sleeve that deck?
I have no idea. I have no idea what the
that's a
going rate
large
on
number.
SpongeBob sleeves are.
There's probably, I know that in the last couple of years during the pandemic, these small player cubes have become more popular.
Yeah.
There might be cubes that are smaller than Robert Taylor's deck in this modern event.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I have a few cubes myself that are smaller than Robert Taylor's deck. I mean, by virtue, it's only 180 cards.
Ragavan. Okay, that's a real card. Although it does trade.
That's a real card. You're so offensive, Mr. Lisette. As Ox of a Goddess, a good draw. Would be a lot better if we didn't sacrifice a land on the previous turn. But nonetheless, here comes a crunch in for 1 by the powerful Narcomoeba. Only access to 2 mana here, and clearly not super interested in portable holding that Ragavan.
Yeah,
Not really respecting that card as enough of a threat.
Maybe
you want to Leyline of Sanctity? Well, some good ones off the top of the Dredge deck here.
Didn't want it, so lucky for him that got flipped over there. I don't think that's getting cast for Jacob's side. Treasure Maid. And
looks like Drown in the Lock picked up among the 2 Thoughtseize. 2 Thoughtseize not great. Drown in the Lock probably one of the better ones here. As Narcomoeba, another draw. Let's go. Jellyfish beats.
This is, I mean, we're getting to the point where even for a Molda 6 versus for a Molda 4, it's still pathetic.
We drown locking? Oh, give it to me. Drown in the Lock. What a flavor fail. You're drowning a jellyfish? Is this a joke?
Yeah, we're also hard countering a Narcomoeba. And Jacob's at 2.
He's at 2. It's lethal. The jellyfish that could.
Oh no! Portable hold.
Disaster.
How
we have a portable hold?
How does Ragavan not get portable hold? And now it's revealed a portable hold. Take out Narcomoeba. Jacob picks up Gigantha.
Oh, Gigantha. No, that stops the ground pound plan. All right, don't worry. We'll draw Creeping Chill. Cathartic Reunion. Boo!
What? That's a real card.
Unbelievable. All right, fine. I guess we'll cast a real card. Let's see. Can I escape Ox of Agonis? I will be able to after I dredge a million cards. Yes. So let's put that one in the yard along with this Stinkweed Imp. And let's go a dredging. Now, it's really funny that Narcomoeba being killed by that drown means this Cathartic Reunion gets to resolve. And that means, it matters a lot. Like this Cathartic Reunion does a lot. This Ox of Agonis is going to come into play, escaped. And then all of these prize amalgams are going to come back. And that's just going to be way too much for Jacob Segal to overcome just because this jellyfish had to get drowned in the lock.
Gosh. Yeah, 2 Narcomoebas.
I'll take those. Thank you very much.
In the deck. 2 Narcomoebas into play. Prize of Malcolm's going crazy.
Hope you got a damnation, Mr. Segal.
And at 2 life, not a lot of freedom to maneuver here. This Ragavan is not getting through again. All right, these lands are getting cashed in finally.
But it's so cool because you can now escape the Ox using those lands. It fuels your card, Joe. Synergy.
Yep, no problem there assembling the Ox cost.
No amalgams taken out there. Here comes Ox. How about 3 dredgers? How does that sound? All right, here, I'll dredge.
Sounds perfect. Is there a Creeping Chill?
Any Creeping Chills in the chat? None here. All right. Let's see if we can get another one. Oh, nope. No chili, but 5 more cards coming. Dark Blast. Oh, Joe, it's getting cold in here.
And there is a Creeping Chill. And Jacob Segal succumbs to a furious beatdown in 1 and 2 point increments with a Crippling Chill to finish.
Oh, and License first on top of the library.
Yeah.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
So Ethan Dasher advances to 2-0 somehow, despite not doing anything as I intended to do until about turn 8 there, but it was enough against the Molda 4.